Good morning, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Thank you again for joining me. I always appreciate your presence. So I have some news to share with you and only one video at the end. Uh, so today is June 21st, 2022. Thank you again. Let's get started. So I will start with uh, about the report coming out of Gimbi, West Oromia. This is from CNN World, and different media also reported on this news. At least 200 civilians killed in western Ethiopia, says reports and officials. At least 200 civilians are believed to have been killed in Ethiopia's Oromia region by rebel group, the Oromo Liberation Army, OLA, on Saturday, according to reports, a rights group, and local officials. Most of the victims are from the Amara ethnic group, a police officer said. The attack on the town of Gimbi was connected to the fighting between the government forces and the OLA, according to a statement from the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission. The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission told CNN Monday that the assault has left scores of people injured, villages destroyed, and entire communities traumatized. The Oromo Liberation Army, which last year aligned with Tigrayan rebel forces against Ethiopia's federal government in the country's protracted conflict, has denied all the allegations. OLA spokesman Oda Turbi said Sunday that the regime of Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is again blaming the OLA for atrocities committed by its own retreating fighters. The rebel group has been designated as a terror organization by the Ethiopian government, and it is frequently accused of attacking civilians and targeting ethnic Amaras. This incident is among the worst atrocities to hit the country since fighting broke out in Ethiopia's northern Tigray region in 2020, when Abiy's government and its allies from the neighboring Amara region tried to suppress a rebellion by the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front (TPLF). The TPLF dominated Ethiopia's government prior to Abiy's rise to power in 2018. The ensuing civil war has seen both sides carry out atrocities, according to human rights group, and risks splitting the ethnically diverse country. There is no suggestion TPLF was involved in Saturday's attack. A local police officer involved in the response effort to Saturday's incident told CNN that an attack happened near Tole, a village within Gimbi, on Saturday, with the majority of the victims belonging to the Amara ethnic group. The police officer spoke on the condition of anonymity as he was not authorized to speak on the matter. The assault came days after heavy fighting between government security forces and the OLA in the area, he said. Survivors and escapees told the police officer the attack started when members of the Oromo Liberation Army attempted to cross through the village but were denied passage by local residents and some armed civilians. A resident of Tole, who only spoke on the condition of anonymity for fear of reprisal, said he saw OLA militiamen walking down a main road on Saturday morning before dispersing towards neighboring villages. Government forces who were seen in Tole earlier in the week had left the area days before the attack, he added. The police officer said responders were sent to the scene on Sunday to retrieve and bury bodies. Federal forces have now secured the area, he added, but residents are still asking for immediate assistance due to security concerns in the area, the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission said. The Oromia regional government also accused the OLA of attacking civilians after being incapable of resisting attacks from security forces and has vowed to intensify attacks on the group, according to a statement published on Sunday. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said the attacks on innocent civilians and the destruction of livelihoods by illegal and irregular forces is unacceptable in a tweet on Monday. The head of the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, Daniel Bekele, urged authorities to ensure necessary measures for protection of civilians and find a lasting solution to the problem in a statement from the Commission on Sunday. Credit CNN. So that is the different side claims. The government and the Oromia region claim OLA carried out, and the witness, the police officer, is a government employee also claiming OLA carried out these attacks, and the other witness also telling us OLA tried to cross through the city, but those armed civilians so try to prevent the OLA operation. They are armed, so they are not purely civilians. This is challenge. This is a tweet from Oda Turbi, Oromo Liberation Army International spokesperson. The Abiy regime is again blaming the OLA for atrocities committed by its own retreating fighters. The killings and property destruction that occurred in Tole, Gimbi district were committed by Gachana Sirna militia created by Oromia state itself, #Ethiopia. So that is the OLA side. The OLA side, this crime against the Amara is carried out by the government forces called Gachana Sirna, retreating from the fight from OLA oppression. So it's claim and a counterclaim. This is a challenge of failed leadership in that country. And that is a situation when the government is failed and extended the war. Civilians and others will be the victim. We hope it will be over soon. I hope so. With Abiy Ahmed resignation, Prosperity Party is not leading the country. It's leading the country into chaos and making the land of bloodshed. This one is about the highlight from Oromo Federalist Congress senior officials Jawar, Mohamed, and Bekele Gerba's speech from the Thank You tour conducted in Minnesota and also Iowa. especially the thank you tour in Minnesota is the highest of all, the one carried out in Europe and other areas. So it's a welcoming home, and as a grand innovation, and really full of the meeting place. The hall is full. I never seen this. May be the first one in welcoming politicians from Ethiopia. Should be the highest. So even senators, city council members, and other dignitaries and other friends of Oromo joined this welcoming Thanksgiving tour in Minnesota. It's really interesting and inspiring to see that forum. It's a very long speech, but you might already listen to it. But I will just summarize in just one page their speech, the core point. And but it's a welcoming. It's well celebrated. Senators, Senator Josh and others attended. Other dignitaries attended, and Oromos also came out in a big number to welcome these senior officials, and we appreciate. We thank all these supporting the Oromo movement. So both OFC officials reiterated again their party's objective, which is non-violence method of resisting oppression in Ethiopia. Dialogue over armed conflict is preferred to settle war and other conflicts in Oromia and beyond, according to Jawar Mohamed and Bekele Gerba, or according to their party OFC. So they prefer dialogue and peaceful or non-violence means to settle the conflict, just like Martin Luther King and others. But both officials denied calling for Oromo Liberation Army forces to disarm, demanded or urged the Ethiopian government to sit with OLA and address the concerns as the government trying with TPLF. On the question of retaining Jawar Mohamed here in the United States, both leaders rejected this idea. Both said they are ready to sacrifice for Oromo's freedom movement. They said freedom is not free. It requires valuable sacrifices, including losing life. So Jawar Mohamed will not stay in America. They urged the Oromo diaspora community to continue their financial, diplomatic, advocacy, and other forms of support until Oromos and Oromia are free from tyranny in Ethiopia. They called on the Ethiopian government to release all Oromo political prisoners and other thousands and thousands of Oromos from Ethiopian jails. They said, we don't feel happy as long as the suffering of Oromos continue in Ethiopia. Mr. Bekele Gerba clearly showed or stated to the Thank You Forum attendees about the status of Ethiopia under Abiy Ahmed's leadership. He said, Oromos are pushed into life-threatening conditions. Oromos cannot conduct farming, trading, attend education, and change their lives. Oromos are continuously subjected to arbitrary detention, burning of their belongings, and even killed by the government security forces. There is no freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, no accountability or no justice or rules of law in Oromia, Ethiopia. Mr. Bekele said it is only in Ethiopia where government security forces burn farmers' houses and express happiness on live video recording and remained unaccounted for. He also said that it is only in Ethiopia where the government forces burn human being alive, chop the body, record their criminal conduct on live video, and remain unpunished. Both Bekele Gerba and Jawar Mohamed called for independent investigation for Oromo iconic artist and freedom fighter Hachalu Hundessa and for all other horrible killings carried out under Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's leadership in Ethiopia. Mr. Bekele Gerba warned the government to end its brutalities against the Oromo people or else we all will join the Oromo Liberation Army and fight for ultimate freedom. So these are the highlights of the Thank You Tour discussion in Minnesota and Iowa. And the discussion is very long and including question and answer and comment and thank you mostly. Thank you. Our appreciation for Oromo diaspora community for standing up for all political prisoners who suffer on behalf of Oromos. China-Africa Peace Conference kick-off in Addis Ababa. The China Horn of Africa First Peace, Government and Development Conference, the first of its kind, has commenced in Addis Ababa today. The conference will last for 2 days, mainly focusing on the themes of peace, development, and good governance. If you can get these things in Africa. The event is being conducted with the underpinnings of China's interest in working with the Horn of Africa states to ensure that sustainable peace and development are consolidated. High-level participants arrived last night, including Zhu Bing, the Chinese special envoy to the Horn of Africa, and other high-ranking dignitaries of the Horn of Africa region. China has been investing in the Horn of Africa for quite some time, conducting extensive engagements, chief of which is the up-and-coming Belt and Road Initiative, which aspires to interconnect the region with Eastern and Southeastern Asia as well as Europe. Addis Standard had previously reported on plans to hold a peace conference in the Ethiopian capital following the designation of Zhu Bing as the Chinese special envoy to the region. The special envoy had traveled to Addis Ababa back in March and met Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Mohamed to discuss Chinese commitment to support Horn of Africa countries and express a willingness to assist in the areas of governance, development, and peace. It is recalled that during his official visit to Kenya in January this year, the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said that conflicts and instability in the Horn of Africa, including Ethiopia, Somalia, and Sudan, threaten China's substantial investment in the Eastern Africa, and that China desires to promote a peace conference. So China is trying to beat the United States in controlling Africa. and promoting governance and peace, which is a challenge in Africa, because African leaders, trust power, armed conflict, defeating by force instead of dialogue, negotiation. This is from EU Council. This is will not make Ethiopia happy. EU Council sees not enough progress in Ethiopia to normalize relationship. After a meeting today by the Council of the European Union, the EU has decided that although there is some progress in Ethiopia, it is not enough for the full normalization relationship between the EU and Ethiopia. Speaking after the meeting, Joseph Borrell, High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Vice President, the situation in Ethiopia was the big discussion. The Council believes there is some progress, but not enough for the full normalization of our relationship. According to Mr. Borrell, although there has been progress, the EU should be cautious, and any more should be conditional and transactional, depending on the improvement of humanitarian access. In particular, the High Representative said progress must be made from restoring basic services in Tigray to lifting restriction on fuel and fertilizers. This is the most pressing issue to save millions of people from death, Mr. Borrell said. So, not yet to normalize a relationship with Ethiopia. There is some progress, but I think the Europeans, they should also see what is happening in Oromia region. What is happening in Oromia region, and all the prisoners, all the civilians killed, arbitrary detention before they, make any relationship with the Ethiopian government. It's not only the Tigray region. The Tigray region is a major one. It should be resolved. These people should not suffer anymore. They suffered enough. So, but they should also pay attention what is happening in other parts of the country, including the detention of journalists and activists. So, don't rush, European Union, don't rush. This is the last one, commemorating World Refugee Day. Today, June 20, is a Refugee Day. So this is a press release from Anthony J. Blinken, Secretary of State. This World Refugee Day, we acknowledge the unprecedented humanitarian crisis across the globe, resulting in the largest number of refugees in history. Last month, we reached the tragic milestone of more than 100 million people forcibly displaced worldwide. Through humanitarian assistance, diplomacy, and refugee resettlement, the United States leads the way in helping the courageous and resilient people who are forced to flee persecution to find safety and rebuild their lives. The UN Refugee Agency's theme for World Refugee Day this year is whoever, whenever, wherever, whenever. Everyone has the right to safety. We value and honor refugees' strength and perseverance. Our commitment to the world's vulnerable is unwavering. The United States is the world's largest single donor of humanitarian assistance, providing more than $13 billion in humanitarian aid to those in need during fiscal year 2021. The needs are significant, however, and we call on the donor community to increase contribution to support the needs of refugees and other vulnerable populations around the globe. We will continue to represent the best of American values by saving lives and alleviating suffering, working with our partners at home and abroad to assist the forcibly displaced in their time of need, no matter who or where they are, on World Refugee Day and every day. So credit U.S. State Department. So that's the end of the reading. I have only one video for today. It's about Colombia presidential election. Thank you again. There you go. There you go.
The rain did not stop thousands of people from gathering outside Gustavo Petro's headquarters. The economist and former left-wing guerrilla won the elections with just over 50% of the vote. It's a new era in Colombia, the first time a left-wing candidate has won the presidency.
I want to cry. This is the first time we are going to have a popular government. From the left, from the people, of those who have suffered the armed conflict, and he is someone who represents us, the people on the streets.
These people have been demanding change in this country where liberals and conservatives have been sharing power for years.
Gustavo Petro has promised to carry out profound reforms in Colombia, like rethinking the war on drugs, rethinking oil and gas exploitation, and fighting inequality. And that's why all these people are celebrating his victory, because they believe that this is the beginning of a process of change.
This was Petro's third presidential bid. He's now a seasoned politician whose victory adds Colombia to the list of Latin American countries that have elected center-left presidents in recent years. On Sunday evening, he was presented to his supporters by his running mate, Francia Marquez, who will be Colombia's first Afro-Colombian woman vice president.
We are writing history right now, a new history for Latin America. What is coming here is change, real change, in which we commit to life itself. We are not going to disenchant our voters that have been screaming that from now on, Colombia changes.
Petro defeated 77-year-old populist Rodolfo Hernandez, who was referred by many as the king of TikTok. But Petro will face many challenges. 47% of the country did not vote for him. Analysts say he will have to negotiate his reforms in Congress.
This is not only the first time that a left-wing candidate has been elected in Colombia, but also the first time that we have a left-wing Congress too. Because Pacto Histórico, the social movement behind Gustavo Petro, was able to elect a good number of Congress members. So he will have a Congress that is in favor of him. Not a complete majority. He doesn't have a majority in Congress, but he has a good number of Congress members. And that is also something that signs that he could have success in his term.
Petro will take office in August. For many, his government will empower the people in the country who have been ignored by authorities for years. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Bogotá.
Okay, thank you, Al Jazeera, for that reporting. That's Colombia presidential election. We wish them success. There is challenge when you are just elected by half of the population. So you need to figure out how you're gonna deal, how you're gonna get support from almost half of the population who didn't vote for you. That's a challenge. So that's all I have for today. I hope I will be back with more positive news instead of death and destruction, especially in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a very challenging place, and the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission rushed to their report in Western Ethiopia, Western Oromia, with this report very fast, especially when it comes to Amara. So, what about the video circulating in social media? You know, the one I reported on it, I think yesterday or before yesterday. That is also it's already happened before this one. So I'm still waiting for Ethiopian Human Rights Commission if he can say, Mr. Daniel Bekele, if he can say something about that horrible video people unloaded from truck and you know mercilessly killed, shoot by multiple gunshots by Minilik Brigade. So still waiting if you can say something. So thank you again for sharing your time with me. I will be back with other news and updates. Be safe and so long, everyone.